Hello and welcome back to the Heroclix History Channel. So great to see you all here again. Today we're going to talk about another set from 2003. This time it's Critical Mass. And Critical Mass is going to have a few figures in here that are firsts that I'm sure you can relate with the newest set come out, that being the Fantastic Four Future Foundation. And, of course, a few others. We've got some nice firsts in here that we're going to talk about. Unfortunately, as I look in the box, I didn't have any uniques this time that I could show off, but I've got a few veterans here that should bring back some memories, and we can have some fun looking at those. First of all, let's go ahead and take a look at Calypso here. I tell you what, her sculpt was one of the most hated of the set. People thought she looked absolutely ridiculous, and the mane. But you know, the detail that went into making that mane and making that figure actually says a lot for how it was done, because it's actually really great detail, in my opinion. Even though, you know, she looked kind of crazy, but. Another first was Ulik, the troll, and I believe, if I'm right, Umar, whom I think was, oops, sorry, I went out of frame there for a second, which I think was his sister? Not totally sure there, because I don't know their story very well, so tell me in the comments, who is she to him? Just go ahead and give me a rundown on it, because I don't actually remember. But there's Ulik. And yeah, he was a nice, big, strong figure. As a veteran, he had a 10 movement with charge, 11 attack with super strength, 4 damage with close combat expert. And you know, with the new rules coming up, for him, close combat expert makes him dangerous, because all of a sudden he's a 12 and a 5 for one of these figures. That's pretty amazing. We've got the first appearance of Corsair. There's veteran Corsair. He was 33 points with a 10 movement, 10 attack, 6 range, 2 targets, ranged combat expert, and a 16 defense. Kind of sad, really. But he gave him one of those kind of lunging poses there. We've got the first appearance of Diablo. And he was an interesting figure with, as you can see here, we've got 8 range, we've got poison, force blast, willpower, and outwit. And back then you had that 10 range for outwit. Now it's 8, so it's been reconfigured there. But that made him kind of dangerous back then. Perplexing him up would actually be even better. Have a look at a Moloid. That's the first Moloids. They had these, you know, I don't know if he's using it as a cane or what, but I just think it would have been better if this side was up here. But he's got a stick to fight with. And at 9 points, he was a mob figure. You had to put a bunch of him together and just send them after somebody on the page there. As you can see, we've got an Electra here. Who else have we got? We've got the first appearance of the Brood in Critical Mass from 2003. And that is the Brood Warrior. Of course, the unique would be the Brood Queen, and the prize piece would be Professor X, as I remember. How about Moon Knight? First appearance of Kraven, the Hunter. There we go. Of course, you can't have a Moloid without Mole Man. So there's first Mole Man. 8 movement, stealth, 10 attack with incapacitate. Looks like, I can't tell if it's leadership or perplex from that. Looks like perplex. And Mastermind, so put a couple of his Moloids around him for 9 points, and he'll be flexing off that damage. Nice and easy. Here's Hepzibah. Sorry, I went off screen a little bit again. I gotta watch what I'm doing. Also, a ranged combat expert with super senses, 10 movement, 10 attack. She's definitely stronger in a more recent version. Let's see here. Who else have I got? Of course, there's Spider-Man. And the arch nemesis base is here. And while I don't have it, the arch nemesis for him was Venom. And this wasn't a bad Spider-Man. He had super strength and a front-loaded 2 damage, so you could get him to do 3 or 4 with an object. Now let's see here. Is there anybody that I don't have in veteran form? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's not forget Patch. Version of Wolverine, who didn't have much in the way of Blade's Claws till later in his dial, I think. Let's take a peek, if I can turn it. I can't turn it. I don't have a ring. Oh, yep, on his 3rd click he gains Blade's Claws. And he's got a few clicks to him, too. About 7 or 8. Not bad for 64 points, I guess, for back then. But, you know, I remember thinking that when he went to being Patch in the storylines, it was probably the most ridiculous thing he ever did. And it was actually brought up in another storyline where Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, looked right at him and said, well, what was I supposed to say? Hey, Wolverine, what's with the ridiculous eye patch? And it was. I mean, it's like people really didn't know it was Wolverine? Okay. Maybe, maybe not. And here's Nebula. Also a first appearance of Nebula. Okay. And we've got the Kree Dreadnought, who was not a giant at the time. Giants aren't till a later set. For other pieces, we've got Rhino is in here. We have Selene. Okay. Anybody remember Marrow? How about the first appearance of Absorbing Man? Another Daredevil. Over here in the rookies, oh, here's one over in blue. There's Magic. Okay. And there was 3 versions of her. Meteorite from Thunderbolts. All in all, it was a really great set. There was a lot of fun to it. Really, really good teams came out of it. And a lot of firsts that brought in, and oh, hey, check it out. Here's a Brood Queen. The Brood were good for taking over the table. Even though Veteran Brood Warrior was 25 points, you could still, in a 300-point team, get at least 8 of him on the table. And I've seen that happen, and it was semi-brutal. You know, it was mobbing people with those, a lot of mob figures. Really great set, and just a lot of fun to play. Now, I remember going through a lot of boosters and trying to get all the pieces, and I'm not sure what happened. Through moving, I think I've lost a few pieces, but at the same token, I do have this to show for it, so I can show you a little bit of the history and just go over a few pieces. I don't really remember what I built out of this, but I will say I had a question online from John, and he asked what was my favorite set and what was the set that got me started into Heroclix. Well, I'll tell you, the set that got me started was the very first set that ever came out, and that would have been Infinity Challenge. My favorite set has to be all the way back to Fantastic Forces. And the reason that has still been my favorite set historically is it was the first set to have what I considered the very best sculpts so far. And those sculpts even stand up to today. And I'll be getting to a video on that set before too long as I go through the history. Fantastic Forces was really a wonderful set. I loved the sculpts. The mechanics were sound. It was just a wonderful overall set. And while we still have lots of awesome sets now that are really enjoyable and I've enjoyed them, that would be my favorite. So, that is what I have for you today, just showing off a little bit of Critical Mass from 2003. Let me know what you think in comments. You got any questions? Hit me up with them. Be glad to answer them in a future video. And as always, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, because subscribing to this channel makes your game better. I don't know. But please do subscribe. Follow along. We're going to have a lot more fun coming up, and hopefully I'm even going to have some unboxings to do at some point. So thank you very much again, and have a wonderful day and keep rolling those boxcars.